Hi, welcome. My name is Kailey. Thank you for joining me for a short, sweet, and hopefully simple. I'll try my best to keep it simple yoga practice today. When you're ready, you can join me in a cross-legged seat on your mat. You're welcome to sit straight on the mat if that feels comfortable in your hips. Some days that feels fine with me. A lot of the time, I like to slide something underneath my sit bones just to lift the hips up. Do what's going to make the most sense for you. You could use like a firm pillow or a folded up blanket or something a little softer than a block. Once you do decide on your foundation, I'll give you a moment to do so. Shift around a bit. So there's no need to play like freeze tag with yourself when you come to your mat. Any background noise is the responsibility of this little one here, Sasha. So once you do kind of shift the weight side to side, maybe front to back, start to settle into what feels kind of centered for your body. You can let the eyes soften or close all the way down. The entire goal of this practice while you're on your mat today is to take care of yourself. And it sounds like such a simple goal, right? But the longer I've been on this earth, the more disconnected I find myself from my own needs or from this ability to carve out time for myself to take care of myself or to even take time to check in with myself and know what I might need. So take a moment to acknowledge yourself for pressing play on the video, for setting aside this time. Just that act is a pretty profound and powerful self-affirmation. Maybe commit to whatever amount of time you practice today. And let that be your intention, to give yourself permission to check in with yourself and to take what you need of this practice and leave what you don't. Just a few more cycles of breath here. No need to hold the breath just yet. Change the breath. As you take these last few breaths in stillness, be mindful of the length of your spine. See how low into the spine you can send the breath. You can sit up a little taller through the crown of the head, and the shoulders back in line with the hips. Two more deep breaths here, a little bit bigger. So this inhale, let your lungs inflate, let the rib cage move out to the sides. And long exhale through the nose or the mouth, let it go. One more big breath, breathe into the belly. Let the breath move up into the sides of the ribs, and then finally into the center of the chest. Long exhale. Keep the eyes open when you're ready. If you're on a block, you might want to move off of that block. Do a little bit more seated work. Bring your hands to your knees. I'll turn to the side so you can see. We're going to do a seated cat-cow, which is just flexion and extension of the spine. So hands on the knees, round to the back. Lean back a little bit. Shoulders hug up in toward the ears. Navel pulls in toward the lower back. Create space in the lower back even. And then pull the chest through, slide the hands down so the heels of the hands move toward the mid-thigh or even to the hip crease. Elbows can put back behind you. Lift your chin, pull the heart through. We'll move with breath here, so take a breath in. As you exhale, slide the hands to the knees, around the spine, maybe the chin tucks and the shoulders hug up to the ears. And then inhale deeply as you extend the spine, heart pulls through, chin tilts up. Exhale, round the back, so start with cat. Big inhale as you arch the spine. Okay, a couple more like this, just moving on your own. Give yourself permission to find a range of motion that feels good. So that might be a pretty big, adventurous range of motion. It might be a lot smaller today. Get to know what you need in this moment with these breaths here. We're going to add a little bit more in the arms. So same cat, rounding through the spine here. This time bring the arms to a W shape. Pull the heart through, find your arch. Exhale to get back into your cat. Just a couple like that. warming up the shoulders a bit more, feeling into the hands. So there's some energy in the palms as we pull the arm bones back. Last time, pause with the arms in that W shape. Reach the arms overhead. Just lengthen out through the sides of the body here. And then bring your right hand outside of the hip. Left arm comes up and over, kind of a little side bend. You can press the floor away with that right hand to send the left side of your ribs up a bit. Right here. Take a bit to find a little bit of movement with the head, nodding the chin side to side. Nice deep breaths. One more inhale, stretch out through the left arm. And then circle your hands in front of your shins. Find a little forward fold. You might start to walk the arms forward, maybe the fingertips or the forearms. Let the head be heavy here. Take a couple breaths into the back side of your shoulders. It might feel good to give your head a gentle shake, no. A little nod, yes. Walk the hands back toward the shins, lift the spine upright, circle the arms up overhead. We'll take that side bend over to the left, press the floor away with your left hand, open up to the right side of the ribs, and then just gently see if you can emphasize the breath into the right lung. Nod the chin from shoulder to shoulder if that feels good for the neck. One more long breath. This time, circle the hands back behind you. Fingertips point forward or outward. Bend into the elbows a bit. And then lift the chest and the chin. Little back bend. Untangle your knees here. Windshield wiper your knees. Nice and slow, side to side. Take one more long breath. Chin to chest. Hold forward. When you're ready, cross your ankles, and plant your hands. That's a little bit easier. Work your way to a tabletop on your hands and your knees with your shoulders over your wrists and your knees under your hips. And then keeping the arms pretty long, go ahead and circle the shoulders over the wrists a couple times. Bring some awareness into the lower back. Switch the direction of those circles. Try and find some space in the lower back. And gently lifting the abdominals. So there's not an arch in the lumbar spine right here. Come to the center. We'll go ahead and find that arch. Tilt the tailbone toward the ceiling. Find your cow. Inhale, lift the chin up. Tuck the tailbone as you exhale, rounding the spine for cat, chin towards the chest. Couple more. Inhale for cow. Pull the hands back toward your knees energetically. Exhale for cat. Press your finger pads down and forward toward the top of the mat. Breathing in. Breathing out. One more on your own. Extend the ball of the right foot back behind you. Keep the right hand down. Inhale your left arm up and open for a twist. Exhale that left arm back down. Couple more on that side. Inhale, left arm, rotating the torso to the left. Exhale, square the chest to the mat. One more time, big breath in to twist. This time, left hand under left shoulder. Pivot to the inside of that right foot. Bring your left toes off the mat back behind you, and then reach the right arm up. Arm circles for that right shoulder. Totally fine to bend the right elbow. Stay long in your spine. Anchoring down through that back foot. Switch the direction of those arm circles for 4. Nice long breaths. 3, 2, and then 1. Right hand down, square the chest. And then tuck the toes under. Walk your hips back toward your heels. You can stay here kind of in a little squat, not putting a bunch of, not loading much weight into the soles of the feet if that feels like a safer thing for your plantar fascia. If it feels like a good idea, to slowly start to walk the shoulders upright over the hips. Be here for a few breaths. Interlace your hands and circle out through the wrists here. You can always uninterlace and just move through the wrists, a little wrist release. Take your time with those circles. I find like sometimes if there's discomfort in the body, like when we're stretching it, we kind of get tense. into that place and like want to move fast, so fix it, fix it, fix it. If you have discomfort, I'm going to invite you to go even slower, even slower. Try and let it switch the direction of those wrist circles if you're picking that. If you're still on your hands, you could do one at a time here. All right, let's walk it back into your all fours position, your tabletop. This time, left toes come back behind you. We're going to take that right arm up 3 times with your inhale. Rotate through the chest. Exhale, right hand down. 2 more. Big breath in. Breathe out. Last time here. Breath in. Right hand under right shoulder. Come onto the inside of the left foot. Bring your right toes back behind you. And then circle the left arm a few times, staying long in the spine. Totally fine to drop the right ear toward the right shoulder to release the neck. Switch the direction of those arm circles. 3, 2, back to your tabletop on 1. Go ahead and walk the hips back toward the heels. You can untuck the toes this time, just sit all the way back onto the heels. Again, circle through the wrists. Turn the palms, interlace the fingers for real this time. Turn the palms away from you. Round your spine, so coming back to that cat back. And then lift the palms up, pull your heart through, find your arch. Take a breath in. Exhale, round your spine, navel pulls in. Couple more, inhale to lengthen and lift and arch. Exhale to round the spine like you're folding over a big beach ball. 2 more, breathe in. Taking this at your own pace, breathe out. Last one. Walk the hands forward, tuck the toes under. We're going to take it into downward facing dog. Bring your feet a little bit closer to your hands, or your hands a little bit closer to your feet, so that you don't feel a huge amount of strain here. What happens sometimes is people end up in something like a high push-up stance, and then it's just quite hard to find a stretch from there. It's a lot of effort to keep the body stable, which has its own benefits. But especially when you're first down dog, see if you can stretch out the spine by bending into the knees a bunch. Press the hands down into the mat. Push forward through the base of your index finger, looking toward your knees or your toes. And then we'll practice a couple ujjayi breaths here. So there's a constriction in the back of the throat. The breath moves in and out through the nose. Breathing into the nose like you're sniffing, but like sniffing the breath into your belly. And then keep that constriction in the back of your throat. Exhale through the nose. There's kind of an ocean-like sound. A couple more. Ujjayi breath in. Little pause. Ujjayi breath out. Just that one, actually. Walk the feet to the top of the mat. We'll do plenty of ujjayi. I'm going to do another one in down dog right now. Separate your feet to hips distance. Bend the knees generously so that the chest rests on the thighs. You separate your feet even wider and kind of nestle your ribs and your belly between your thighs. Catch the crooks of your opposite elbows here. Let the crown of the head point straight down. Kind of shake out the upper body. Decompressing those uppermost vertebra in the cervical spine there. Letting gravity kind of help you find a little bit more space between the backbones. Release the right hand down, right between the toes. Bend your right knee a bunch. Straighten the left leg as you lift the left arm up. And then swap that out. Left knee bends deeply. Left hand comes down. I'm going to grab a block since it happens to be right here. And then lift the right arm up for a twist as you straighten the right leg out. Send your sit bones back. Release the right hand. We'll do that again. Bend the right knee. Inhale, left arm comes up. Exhale, left hand comes down. Swap it out, a couple more. One more on the left, one more on the right. And slowly, vertebra by vertebra, walk the feet a little closer together to start actually so you have a nice foundation, and then roll it up nice and slow. Let your head be the last thing to lift. Once your shoulders are over your hips, arms sweep up overhead. And then fold forward as you exhale, moving it right back into that forward fold. Hands could catch the calves. They might press into the floor if you bend the knees enough. Palms to your shins or to your hip creases. Find a nice flat back here. Shoulder blades pull onto the back of the ribs. Crown of the head is reaching forward, so the back of the neck is in line with the rest of the spine. Breathe in. Fold forward as you breathe out. Moving with your breath, take it all the way up. Push the feet down as you reach the arms up. Fold forward on your exhale. Halfway stretch, palms into the shins or the hip creases as you breathe in. Fold forward and exhale. All the way up. Try and finish your inhale at the top of your stretch. Take it right back down on your exhale. Last time with this. Halfway lift, breathe in, press the shins or the hip creases. Fold forward and breathe out. Rise with the inhale. Press into your feet. Reach with the fingers. Bring your hands to your heart this time as you exhale. Let your eyes rest on your fingertips. Remember that intention to take care of yourself. Big cleansing breath here before we move on. In through the nose. Open mouth, exhale, offer it up. Leave the eyes open when you're ready. Reach the arms up overhead and breathe in. Bring your hands to your hips. Step your left foot to the back of the mat and then spin open toward the long left side of your mat. Point the toes toward the long left side of your yoga mat. Keep your hands on your hips. Hinge forward into a forward fold. It does not need to be a deep forward fold. You can soften through the knees to give your hamstrings a little bit of space. That feels good in my body today. With your hands on your hips, see if you can bring the elbows closer together and then lengthen through the back of the neck. Another great place for a neck check. A little jaw check. You can nod your head slowly, shake your chin out. Press into the feet, slowly, slowly, slowly roll back up through standing. Turn your right toes toward the top of your mat. Left foot stays pretty much where it is. Bend into the right knee. Then open the arms. And you see me sliding my left foot back. Give yourself a little bit more space if you need so that you can slide into that lunge. Set the eyes over your right fingertips, but pull your shoulders back gently so that they're stacking over your hips. Relax the jaw. And back to your Ujjayi breath. One more in this pose. Sink a little bit lower into your lunge as you exhale. Keep anchoring into your lunge. Flip your right palm up and then reverse your warrior. Left hand rests without putting a bunch of weight in it on the back of the left. The side of the left thigh. Press through the knife edge of your left foot. Some of these days, most of these days for me, actually talking is kind of hard. But today feels especially wonky. We're still gonna roll with it. So send your right knee toward your right second or third toe as you root down through the big toe mound. Big breath in. Circle the right hand so that that right forearm comes to rest on your right thigh. Left arm comes up or forward. So we're in an extended side angle pose here. Keep anchoring through the back edge of your knife. Oh boy, it's rough today. Through the knife edge of your back foot so that you feel that back knee protected. If you're in the inside of the foot, the knee kind of starts to collapse inward, and you keep that knee joint supported with the strength of the muscles around it, particularly the quads, particularly the front of the left thigh. We're gonna come all the way back up to that starting position. So lift the chest, bring the hands to the hips, point the toes toward the long side of your yoga mat. Look forward and then step your left foot to meet your right. So you're back to the top, feet point forward. Reach the arms up as you breathe in. Bring your hands to your hips as you breathe out. We'll do the other side. Step your right foot back, pivot the toes toward the long right side of your yoga mat. This time, go ahead and interlace your hands at your lower back, or you can catch your opposite shoulders, or you might just hold on to the sides of your shirt or a strap if you have one. Take a breath in as you lift the chest and then hinge forward, taking a forward fold here. 3 to 5 long breaths. Pinch your feet in the back of the throat so there's that noise to the breath. You're controlling the breath like you're sipping honey in through a straw as you breathe in. And then that ocean-like exhale. One more breath. Slowly roll up to standing. Pivot the left toes forward, bend into the left knee. Maybe wiggle your right foot back a bit. And then warrior two, taking your arms away from the midline of your body. Setting your eyes over your front fingers. And then really root down into your feet so that your legs feel strong, so that this posture has support in your base and your foundation. And it's that stable foundation that allows us to bring some levity and some lightness into the upper body, length into the spine, expansion into the chest. Anchoring into that lunge still, flip the left palm, reverse warrior. Your eyes can track down toward your back toes or up toward your top fingers, or really anywhere between those 2 points. So if you drew a line from your back toes up to your top hand, you could pick a point along that line for your eyes to land. Breathe into your left side lung, opening up through that space, and then left forearm comes to the left thigh. Right arm comes either straight up or forward, finding that long line from the knife edge of your back foot all the way up through either the crown of the head, if you have the right arm lifted, or through the right wrist. Take another breath in. As you exhale, come back up, hands to hips. Pivot the toes for a moment. Look forward and then step your right foot to meet your left, your back at the top. Reach the arms up as you breathe in. Hold forward as you breathe out. We've got one vinyasa today. Lift it halfway on your inhale. Plant the hands, step to the top of a push-up. We're going to add something in here. So you're in your high plank. And then slowly lower down. You can absolutely drop your knees if that helps you keep the shoulders engaged. Lowering the chest all the way down. When you land, walk your fingertips 6 to 8 inches off of your mat to the side. So the fingers are just a little bit back from the shoulders. Point the elbows up. Press into the toenails. Feet are about hips distance. And then lift up into a wide arm cobra here. Breathe in. Lower the forehead to the mat slowly as you breathe out. 2 more wide arm cobras. Inhale to lift, pressing into the fingers. Exhale, slowly releasing forehead to the mat. 1 more roll up, breathe in. Roll it down as you breathe out. Walk the hands underneath the shoulders. Press to your hands and your knees, the toes tuck, and then downward facing dog. Pedal out your down dog, spread out your fingers. Find that stretch in the spine again, maybe by softening out through the knees. And then we're going to take the right leg back behind you. So pick it up behind you. You can get real high and open the hip, or you might square the hips and keep them level. Big breath in there. Step your right foot between your thumbs. Keep your back knee lifted, and then circle your right arm up and open. So we're in a dragonfly twist. Couple breaths here, using your breath to find some space. Wrapping the lungs around the heart for that twist. Breathe in. And then plant the right hand, step your right foot to the back of the mat, downward facing dog. Paddle it out, give your head a shake. Notice if you're picking up tension in your jaw that you can let go. Left leg lifts on an in-breath. Step the left foot between the thumbs. Left arm spins open. The dragonfly twist over on this side. Strong through that back leg, so you're kind of hugging the muscle of your right leg, the bone. Rotating open, using your breath to find space in the twist. 1 more long inhale. Down dog. Plant the left hand, step the left foot to the back of the mat. Big breath in here. Long breath out. When you're ready, look toward the top of the mat. Step walk or hop your feet to the top. Halfway stretch, breathe in. Fold forward and breathe out. All the way up on the in-breath. Hands to your heart as you exhale. Make it a little complicated. Take the left knee up and the arms up. Find your balance here. You'll flex the left foot, point the left toes, but find length in your spine. Big long inhale. We're going to go all the way back to dragonfly twist. The left foot kicks way back, left hand comes down, right knee bends as that right arm spins open. Take a breath in, bring your right hand down, frame out the front foot, soften the left knee. Let the chest pull forward. If you happen to have a block or two blocks, you can slide underneath the hands. That can be helpful here. Long breath in, and then we're going to straighten out the right leg until you feel a stretch through the right hamstring, through the back of the right thigh. So not forcing anything, but just bringing some sensation into that back of the right leg area. Stay here and breathe. If you have a ton of flexibility and you feel really, really great about it and safe with it, you might sink your hips back. You might come into a full split variation, or you can walk your hands underneath your right heel and lift that right heel up. Send your chest toward your toes. So you're looking at your right big toes. All right, if you added a variation, let's all meet back up in that half split, half Hanumanasana here. Rebend the front knee, tuck the back set of toes under, lift the back knee, and then step your left foot to the top to meet your right. You're in a forward fold. Find a halfway stretch, breathe in. Fold forward and exhale. That chair pose, just one chair in this practice. Feet can be hips distance, or you might have the big toes touching. Hug the legs toward midline without kind of jamming the knees together. Think about squeezing the thighs toward one another instead of the knees. Set the eyes to one spot. Pressing through all four corners of your feet for 5, 4, 3, 2. Bring your hands to your heart and then stand all the way up on one. Reach the arms up, take a breath in. Hands back to your heart as you breathe out. We're down to the left foot. This time we're going to find that balance with the right knee up and the arms lifting. Point the right toes, flex the right foot, use your strength, so use the core as well as the right thigh and hip flexor to lift that leg high. Take a big breath in. If you need an extra challenge, you might look up toward the ceiling. We're going to step the right foot back to dragonfly twist. Right hand comes down as the left arm lifts up and open. Long inhale. On an exhale, bring the left hand down, soften the right knee. Pull the heart forward for a moment. Find this hinge through the left hip. Keep that hinge as you start to straighten out the left leg. So you see my back is relatively flat here as opposed to this. So if you can, when you've got that knee bent, think about kind of unhinging the pelvis a little bit, finding a bit of a tilt. That's going to allow you to get into that hamstring stretch a little bit more skillfully. And hopefully more safely. And find a range of motion that way that maybe you wouldn't have access to if you had the tailbone all kind of locked up, then you would end up doing more of a back stretch, right? Nothing wrong with stretching the spine. If that's where you end up going and it's feeling good for you, stay there, do that. Couple more cycles of breath, remembering your options are to come into full splits. That's not for my body, especially on this side. Or to bring your hips back toward your heel and lift your right heel and lift your left heel. Looking toward your left big toe to practice managing your energy. I don't know about you, but my concentration and focus has been unraveling over the last couple of years. Yoga can help with that. So while you're practicing, really work on committing to a gaze point. Notice when your mind wanders, gently, gently bring it back. All right, we're going to rebend left knee, walk the hands forward, tuck the right toes, lift the right knee, right foot steps to the top, bend the knees and flex. Keep your hips low. Sit down onto your butt. Great work. Straighten the legs out in front of you. Give them a little shake out. Bring your hands back behind you. Right, from here, we're going to bend both of the knees over toward the right, setting up for something called deer pose. We're actually going to stretch out the neck. Cooling it down first. Bring your right hand outside of your right hip, and then drop your left ear towards your left shoulder. You stay here or reach the left hand up and catch the edges of the right ear, kind of frame it with your fingers. Not pulling on the head really, but just letting that hand be heavy. Stay there or walk the right fingers back behind you more. The right shoulder on the back of the ribs. Nice long breaths. Starting to cool everything down here. Got your left hand, well, wherever you got your left hand, bring your left fingers toward your left temple and then press the head back up for neutral. Look toward the right, lengthen out the spine, and your hands around the right knee or behind the right knee. Take a breath in. Walk the hands forward, maybe coming onto the forearms. Couple breaths in your forward fold variation here. Remember, you can totally be upright on the hands. And if you have props nearby, a nice variation is to bring something underneath the forehead so that you don't have to hold the weight of the head up, or the neck doesn't have to do any work to hold the weight of the head up. Breathing. Letting go of Ujjayi breath and moving more into a 3-part breath here. Exhaling the breath completely to start. On your next inhale, breathe into the belly. Let the breath roll into the ribs and then up into the center of the chest. As you exhale, relax the center of the chest first, down through the ribs as they soften and the belly finally relax. If you're filling up a glass of water, inhale into the belly, the ribs, the collarbones. Exhaling, soften the collarbones, ribs, and belly. Give yourself 2 more breaths here. That second exhale, walk your hands back, slowly start to lift the chest up over the hips. Bring the hands back behind you for a moment, and then slowly shield the wipers with the knees. Very serious about moving slowly, especially if you have discomfort. You want to make the body feel safe if there's tension or even pain. Some of the kind of tightness that gets generated is your body's own wisdom, keeping a joint safe. So it'll tense the muscles around that space so that it knows that you're not going to do anything bonkers or move really quickly into a range of motion that it can't support or stabilize. We want to move nice and slow, calm the nervous system down. Train ourselves to move mindfully. The next time the knees are over to the left, we're going to pause. Setting step up on this side. Left fingers tent outside of the left hip somewhere. And then bring bring your right ear toward your right shoulder. There we go. Stay here, just letting gravity do its thing. Or you can walk the left fingers back a bit, keep the shoulder on the back, keep the chest lifted, or you can reach the right arm up, bringing your ear between 2 of the fingers on your right hand. Again, we're not pulling. Think about letting that right hand heavy, so there's an added little load for gravity to do its magic with. Breathe into the sensation of the stretch in the left side of your neck. 2 more long breaths. After that second exhale, don't rush yourself. Bring your right fingers toward your right temple and then use that hand to bring the head back to neutral. Rotate to the left, lengthen through the spine, and walk the hands forward. In your forward fold variation on this side, on the palms or the forearms, maybe with a prop underneath the forehead. Remind yourself of that intention to let this practice be about taking care of yourself. And that kind of secondary intention around that, that this practice be an opportunity to get a little bit more in tune with your needs so that you can take care of yourself. Very difficult to practice effective self-care when everything's just so chaotic and disorganized feeling, maybe internally or externally or both, that we can't even maybe pinpoint what we need. And in moments like that, when there's definitely a need, but it's hard to say what it is, right? Because I know I need help, and I don't know what kind of help is going to be most effective. In moments like that, the best thing you can do is give yourself extra kindness, extra compassion. Take a pause, let yourself slow down. See if anything bubbles up to the surface by giving yourself that little bit of spaciousness. A couple more breaths here. When you're ready, walk the hands back, lifting the chest up. Another opportunity for those windshield wiper knees, if they're feeling good to you. Eventually, sit up a little taller, bring your arms forward, round your back, one more cat back here, flexion through the spine, or to kind of wiggle the shoulders. So you're actually bringing the shoulders away from the spine and up toward the ears, and then slowly lower. Bring the arms back up over your head, step the feet down underneath your hips, long body stretch as you breathe in. One bridge pose, bridge the hips up, bring your arms down by your side, the palms can press down gently. Counter stretch for the back after those forward folds, rooting down to the feet, chin pulling away from the chest, knees pressing forward toward the top of the mat. You could reach your knees past the toes. Lower it down slow, vertebra by vertebra. Windshield wiper the knees here, bring your arms to a cactus or a T. Time your knees drop over to your right. Keep them there for a few breaths, taking the spinal twist option to bring the left knee up, catching the crook of the left knee with the right hand. And keep your head neutral, or if it feels good, to nod your chin toward your left shoulder, bring the neck into that rotation as well. Let go of any control of the breath, so releasing ujjayi, you're still breathing that pranayama. Bring the head through neutral if you nodded to the left, take a breath in. Untangle, pause in the center, feet down, knees up, bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart, take a breath. Let the knees melt to the left, arms can come back into a cactus or a T. The knees could stay just like they are, or you could bring your right knee higher and touch the crook of the right knee with the left hand. Neutral through the neck or nod the chin to the right as you breathe into the spinal twist. Especially these spinal twists, we're really working with these channels of energy in the central nervous system, as well as in yoga, we talk about chakras, and in Chinese medicine, we talk about meridians, lots of energy running up and down the length of the spine. See how deep you can take this vinyasa. Breathe into your low back, tailbone even. And back to the center. Savasana, taking your time to extend one leg at a time away from the low back. Let your arms relax by your side with your palms turning upright. Give yourself space. So if you've got space to extend the limbs a little bit further away from the body, 45-degree angle is nice for most folks. So just allow the muscles to melt. It's totally fine if you're still experiencing pockets of tension or tightness. Giving your body this open invitation to rest. Just like we practice different yoga poses or different exercise modalities, and maybe at first we're not very good at some of them. That's fine. Same goes for shavasana and relaxing. I don't know anywhere except for maybe kiddos and animals that are naturally very good at relaxing. So it takes a little time. Maybe for today, just soften the space between your brows. Unclench a bit through the jaws. Let the belly relax, soften. Be here for just about 30 more seconds together in stillness. And listen for my voice to close shortly. Nod your head slowly side to side. Step your feet down underneath your knees. Interlace your fingers. And then extend the arms up over your head toward the back of the room. Flip your palms away from you. Big breath in. Sip in a little bit more breath. Open mouth, exhale. Take your time to find a seat. You can curl over onto one side for a couple breaths and adjust to that posture before you come upright. Especially if you have kind of the tendency to have any like blood pressure changes when you change your position. Really take your time. When you land upright, bring your spine as long as you can. Bring your hands to your heart. One last time, acknowledge yourself for practicing. Thank yourself for practicing. I thank you for practicing. Thank you for taking care of yourself. And the more we practice taking care of ourselves, the better we can show up for every community that we're a part of, right? Homes that we live in, the neighborhoods, our workplaces, our coffee shops, and grocery stores, and parking lots, right? The more we practice this act of checking in with ourselves and meeting our needs, the better we're able to tolerate whatever arises in the world around us. Namaste. Thank you again for your practice.